up, Tzu Chi volunteers continue their footsteps in helping flood survivors in Malaysia. We meet mortician Guo Xianhong, who devotes himself so selflessly in the aftermath of the TransAsia Airways crash in Taipei. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Now. Thank you for joining us. Although nearly 2 months have passed since the east coast of Malaysia was struck by a devastating flood, the volunteers' effort in helping flood survivors continues. Recently, volunteers visited residents in Kelantan to better understand their current situations and needs. Meanwhile, in the state of Pahang, volunteers organized 5 distribution where residents from more than 50 villages received cash cards from the Buddhist NGO.
Whenever a disaster strikes, Tzu Chi volunteers will always be there to help.
Inside gymnasium in the state of Pahang, the Tzu Chi Foundation is handing out cash cards to flood survivors of 50 villages, including those from Bura and Temerloh. During the event, many recipients shed tears of gratitude after learning of the NGO's charity missions.
I agree with what Master Zheng Yan said. We need to follow the Master's footsteps and contribute what we can to help our fellow citizens.
Recipient Mohammed Umar offers the volunteers homemade cookies to express his thanks.
These cookies are not valuable, but I just want to give what I can to express my thanks. I don't think I can ever repay the Tzu Chi Foundation for its kindness. No words can describe my appreciation.
Inspired by Tzu Chi's kindness, Hamia Alisa happily donates 1/3 of her consolation cash to the Buddhist NGO.
I feel that
I believe there are still many people in need of assistance, and we need to help them because all of us are citizens of Malaysia. Following the recent flooding, I didn't have money to donate because I was in need of help too. But now I can give a little because the Tzu Chi Foundation offered me consolation cash.
As a token of their appreciation, Safi Abdullah and his compatriots decided to stay behind to help the blue and white-clad angels clean up the venue.
I want to thank Master Zheng Yan on behalf of my fellow villagers. We also want to send our greetings to the Master in Taiwan. I believe we can achieve world peace if everyone has a compassionate heart, just like the volunteers.
With stores still cleaning up after the mess left by last year's mid-December flood, streets in Kuala Krai remain empty and quiet. Many store owners say they don't have the money to purchase new items.
The devastating floods destroyed everything. The fruit of my years of hard work was completely destroyed by the disaster. Now I can hardly manage to put food on the table.
Pan Yao Gui is the owner of a popular store which sells daily sundries and pottery. The disaster destroyed 80% of his goods.
I need to start from zero again. I don't know what lies ahead of me, so I will just take one step at a time. What else can I do? I'm old. I don't have the energy to work as hard as youngsters anymore.
Store owner Liang Guoxing, who moved from Penang to Kuala Krai to pursue a better life, says the recent flood destroyed everything he has worked for all these years.
It was the worst flooding in 3 decades. I lost all my machines in the floods. I was planning for retirement before the incident. Now, my son will take over my business, but he will have to start from the beginning.
The mid-December flood in Malaysia affected many lives. However, it has also reminded residents of the importance of cherishing their blessings and doing good deeds. Tzu Chi continues to bring assistance to flood victims on the eastern coast of Malaysia, most recently with the distribution of consolation cash in the form of cash cards. Ahead of another consolation cash distribution, volunteers were back in Kuala Krai, where they had formerly held cash reward programs and aid distributions to help the community back on its feet.
Thanks to a Tzu Chi-sponsored Cash for Work program, the school is once again filled with the sound of students' laughter. Today, volunteers are back again to bring another round of love for those in need.
Very happy to see you back here again with assistance. On that day, you came and gave us money. It was 100 ringgit a day, right?
On behalf of the school, the Teachers Association, the teachers and students. Thank you so much, Tzu Chi.
Volunteers also revisit those living in a nearby community. Here at the Kuala Kra Community Centre, residents from 3 different faiths help Tzu Chi volunteers prepare for the upcoming consolation cash ceremony.
I'm very happy that I can help.
It is not tiring at all helping out a bit here and there. Everyone helps where they can. Before we were helped, and now we are the ones helping.
Transcending difference in race and faith, residents here have come together to pass through these difficult times with one love and one heart.
In Chiang Mai, Thailand, Tzu Chi volunteers have been visiting residents of a local nursing home for the past 20 years. As Chinese New Year is just around the corner, the volunteers, along with students and faculty of the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School, decided to gather together and give the nursing home a makeover. Under the guidance of their teachers, students at the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School rolled up their sleeves to give this nursing home a makeover, part of the arrival of Chinese New Year.
I am full of joy because we gave this nursing home a fresh new look.
For the past 20 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have been bringing love and warmth to this nursing home, which mostly houses veterans. Meanwhile, at the Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School, students and educators are holding a charity bazaar. Some parents made delicious Thai green papaya salad for sale. To support the charity event, many students donated clothes and toys.
We are selling tangerine juice. All proceeds will directly be given to the Tzu Chi Foundation for charity.
I believe all students have learned the value of money and how to use it wisely.
At the end of the day, students donated all proceeds from the charity sale to the Tzu Chi Foundation because they know doing good deeds cannot wait. 46-year-old Ye came to Taiwan from Thailand over 10 years ago after marrying a local. Unfortunately, her husband passed away 6 years ago, forcing Ye to suddenly carry the family on her shoulders. With courage, determination, and Tzu Chi's help, however, Ye has succeeded in raising her 2 beautiful daughters.
From morning till night, her hands never stop moving. Despite her sore shoulders and aching eyes, Ye continues on.
Every day I earn about 200 to 300 NT dollars. 300 is usually the maximum.
For her family, Ye will do anything. In her efforts, she is also joined by her 2 daughters.
We want to help share the work. We're not afraid of hard work.
Ye came to Taiwan over a decade ago. Her family life was a happy one. Unfortunately, 6 years ago, her husband suddenly passed away.
I continued to call him, but he wouldn't wake up. We got him to the hospital, but they said that he had already passed away. At that time, I didn't know that I was pregnant with my second child.
With 2 children to care for, Ye has tried to put the tragedy behind her and focus on her kids. By her side has been Tzu Chi with financial aid and the practice of recycling.
She is very hardworking and does what needs to be done. She has done a wonderful job raising her 2 daughters and has never complained about the hard work she faces.
In this Tzu Chi home, at the forefront is love and hope.
days after the TransAsia Airways flight GE235 crashed into Taipei's Keelung River on February 4th, Tzu Chi volunteers' assistance to emergency workers continues unabated. At Ground Zero, volunteers work in shifts to support the needs of rescue personnel while the service station, while their counterparts at the Tzu Chi Nehu grounds continue to supply hot meals and beverages for the frontline heroes.
Search and rescue operations continue 5 days after the TransAsia Airways flight GE235 crashed into the Keelung River. And Tzu Chi service station continues to respond to the needs of those working on the front lines.
The olive oil helps keep the divers' body temperatures up so they don't experience hypothermia while they're underwater. When they told us, we asked the committees to prepare some more olive oil for us, and the divers were really grateful for that.
Tzu Chi volunteer Hong Tianming, who is a retired police officer, has been offering his assistance at the service station since the time of the crash, acting as a bridge between Tzu Chi volunteers and the police officers.
We've all gotten to know each other over the past few days, so whenever the emergency workers have a request, Tzu Chi volunteers will assist them with their needs. The people from the Nangang district office told us that they felt much more at ease when they saw us arrive.
Over the past 5 days, volunteers have been working in 3 shifts to continuously offer hot meals and beverages, blankets and heat packs to those on site. As most of these emergency workers are very young, volunteer He Chen Mei-ying watches over them just like her own children.
The only thing we can do is to support them in spirit. There isn't much we can do besides offer our care and assistance, and we are very grateful to them.
Fortunately, you came to help us. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what to do. It has been your love and support that has carried us this far. Thank you so much. We're truly grateful.
Apart from Ground Zero, volunteers have also been stationed at Taipei's Songshan Airport to assist family members of the plane crash victims retrieve their personal belongings. It is in times like these that volunteers offer much solace and comfort.
These family members are torn by grief. Although we're just accompanying them, we understand their pain. Life is impermanent, just like the Master tells us, so we should give of ourselves while we still can.
Offering a shoulder to lean on through these families' most fragile moments, volunteers are helping them overcome these dark days with their love. The Tzu Chi Nehu grounds is bustling with activity as kitchen volunteers arrive early morning to prepare 400 lunch boxes to be sent to the crash site. As a cold front dragged temperatures down over the weekend, volunteers added a touch of chili peppers to the dishes to help warm the bodies of the rescue crew.
Initially, we thought if we put the chili in last, it won't be spicy, but we added some now and it seems to be okay. Since it's really cold outside, everyone needs something with a little heat and spice to warm up their bodies.
The volunteers' love and concern for those fighting on the front lines can be seen through their cooking.
We have prepared this for the rescue teams. They are our heroes.
They are bowls, pickled radish, and chopsticks.
A group of volunteers are also on standby, ready to deliver these lunch boxes to the service station as soon as they are packed.
We handed them out to the divers as soon as they came ashore so that they can warm up.
As soon as divers come ashore, Tzu Chi volunteers rush over to wrap blankets around them. As Taipei has been experiencing a cold spell, volunteers also prepared hot soup to replenish the divers' energy and help them build resistance against the harsh elements. Days of bad weather have added to the difficulty of the rescue mission. Civil organizations, the government, and the military have all dispatched people to assist with the operation.
The visibility underwater is zero. When we dive in, we literally have to crawl and feel our way through the waters. But we're trying our best and doing everything we can.
At the forefront of the rescue mission, emergency workers are doing everything possible to help and are determined not to give up hope.
Next, we meet 25-year mortician Guo Xianhong to learn what has motivated him to give his time and effort so selflessly in the wake of the TransAsia Airways plane crash. Let's take a look.
As rescue teams bring the bodies of the deceased ashore, mortician Guo Xianhong and his team immediately get to work, helping investigators check and transport the body. In fact, Guo and his team of 40 have been at the site since day one, helping authorities.
The first and second days, it was raining, and there was mud everywhere. It was a mess. When moving the bodies, we had to be careful for their sake, as well as the safety of the rescue personnel.
25-year-old Guo Xianhong took over this business from his father, who passed away nearly 2 years ago. Now he runs the business with the same spirit of charity that his father once did.
I've seen many deaths and saw how my dad dedicated so much of his time to the families of the deceased. Now I understand a bit better the sense of achievement and the feeling of peace that he felt while he was giving his time like that.
He came into this business a little late, but we have seen that he works very hard and is always willing to learn.
Teachers show the way, but it is up to us to walk it. These are some of the last words that Guo's father bequeathed to him before he passed. It is sentiments like this that Guo and other morticians on site hold close to their hearts.
We can see that what we are doing here is for greater good, and this feeling gives us the strength and support to carry on.
In Hualien, Taiwan, a year-end blessing ceremony was held for staff members of Tzu Chi's formations. Master Zheng Yan was present to give her blessings and thanks to the staff members. Meanwhile, 70 young volunteers of the country's Jingzi books and cafes also went back to Hualien to get in touch with their spiritual roots.
他有画一个眼睛啊，就是眼前看到的是悲苦。
At the gathering of young volunteers of the Jingzi Books and Cafes in Hualien, both the young volunteers and their parents wake up early for the Wisdom at Dawn broadcast. Among them is 7-year-old Shi Bingchen, who has been actively involved with Tzu Chi because of his parents.
Because of Wisdom at Dawn, we have learned so much that is worthwhile. Master Zheng Yan is so diligent. I want to work hard just like her.
比较好动。
He was a bit overactive and liked to act like a baby in the past. Since watching the broadcast and coming in touch with the master's teaching, he slowly began to correct his behavior and himself.
The 70 young volunteers come from all over Taiwan. At the training seminar held at the Jingzi abode, they learn proper conduct and how to better serve their guests. Through exchange of insights, they vow to strengthen themselves.
The children are polite and well-behaved. We often say everyone has the power to teach and influence others. By looking at these children, you see such refreshing energy and the potential of these young Bodhi seeds, which gives you hope of a better future. So they are all very important. Listening intently to a Dharma master from the abode, the young volunteers are getting in touch with their Tzu Chi roots and taking in the charity spirit so they may better help more people when they return to their post. At the year-end blessing ceremony, also held in Hualien for staff members of Tzu Chi's formations, young Ling Wanqi shares how the Wisdom at Dawn broadcast has empowered her. I actually feel very conflicted about many things, including people, which can be very intimidating because I don't know how I should deal with them. But thanks to the Dharma gained through Master's teaching, I have begun to understand. The Master wants us to understand what the Dharma is. Due to rotating shifts at the hospital, Wu Jingling sometimes gets less than 4 hours of sleep, but still insists on watching the broadcast. Whenever I suffer setbacks, I tell myself that I should not contribute to the problem, but let the suffering end here. This is the solution that I have devised when I run into troubles. The head of the Communication Studies Department of Tzu Chi University, Chen Dingbang, says he also applies what he learned to help guide his students.
The master said after we listened to the sermon, we should take the Dharma into our hearts and put it into practice. So I vowed not to lose my temper anymore in front of my students. Since I already have the Dharma from the Master, I must put it to practice.
The staff members also performed the white ox cart, which symbolizes the purification of both the heart and the world, and a section from the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings to demonstrate their devotion.
想50年前我足孤单，现在有遮多人对师父行。各位大医王菩萨们，你们的爱，你们的宏愿啊，大家呢互相勉励，用最虔诚的心祝福我们四大事业各位。 大医王菩萨们呢，新年事事如意，而且入经藏啊，愿愿都能立宏愿。
The Master then lights a lamp which symbolizes the unity of Tzu Chi's 4 missions. All present vow to not only help illuminate the path to enlightenment, but also promote peace and harmony through compassion and sincerity.
Recently, the Tzu Chi Guandu grounds in Taipei, Taiwan hosted a Chinese New Year banquet with all Tzu Chi care recipients around the area invited to attend. At the end of the banquet, volunteers handed out relief supplies so everyone can enjoy a happy and warm Chinese New Year.
The Tzu Chi grounds in Guandu, Taipei is hosting a Chinese New Year banquet, and all Tzu Chi care recipients around the area have been invited to attend.
你最喜欢哪一道菜？这个我包是这里。火锅吗？难得的机会，感恩时刻哦。哪边好吃？那个汤熬。
吃这一顿围炉菜很开心，很丰盛，很幸福。
这一点很酸哦。这块饼是滚哦，拢是短片嘛。
Among those participating is Mr. Yang, a stroke survivor. He lost his sight because of diabetes. Though undergoing regular dialysis, he took time to come and even offered to help massage others.
喜事怎么还有空来帮人家按摩呢？
有时间就赶过来，因为一年只有一次啊。我希望能够在今年能够有所贡献吧。
Seizing this occasion to convey familiar warmth, volunteers also deliver relief supplies to care recipients to help make the winter more bearable.
最近天气也这么寒冷，希望在
The weather has been quite cold over the past few days. We hope our love can help warm up their hearts amid this cold weather, so they can enjoy a happy Chinese New Year.
温暖，好让他们好真的在寒冷的冬天里可以过一个好年。
好，新年快乐！谢谢你们。
Delivering the aid packages humbly and respectfully, volunteers also offer personal assistance to disabled care recipients. Thanks to the circulation of love, everyone parts way full of gratitude in their hearts.
We stay in Taiwan at the end of the show, where Tzu Chi volunteers of Taipei's Daan district visited local police station and fire units to offer free blood pressure check and words of encouragement. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.